Good evening. Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the programme tonight, a rebellion by more than 90 loyalist MLAs may have cost the Rajasthan Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot his shot at the Congress chief's post. Though he's apologised for the situation, the Gandhis are reportedly upset with him for humiliating the Congress party. For now, no one is buying the argument that Ashok Gehlot didn't know what his MLAs were up to yesterday. Now, this has all been part of a plan to keep Sachin Pilot out of the Chief Minister's chair. On this program, we'll run you through minute by minute the developments of last night, when a simple Congress legislature party meeting in Jaipur ended up in open rebellion and gross indiscipline. We'll also bring you the very latest developments on the Congress Rajasthan crisis. It's going nowhere. But the big question is this: the Congress Rajasthan coup, as it were, was this pre-planned? Did Ashok Gehlot know about it? Did his supporters plan it in a way in which the argument that, look, he didn't really know what his MLAs were doing isn't at all correct? Here's the timeline. Yesterday, the 25th of September in the morning, Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot and his close aides Pratap Khachariawas and Govind Singh Dotasara visited a shrine near the Indo-Pak border. Now, sources say Mr Gehlot believes that he had no idea of a crisis within the party. Why? Because when he was at this shrine, he was apparently out of cell phone range. So apparently he had no idea what his own MLAs and loyalists were doing behind his back. By the early afternoon, the Chief Whip, Mahesh Joshi, Mahindra Chaudhary, Shanti Dhariwal, all of them started calling the MLAs, inviting them to Shanti Dhariwal's house. He's a senior minister, Mr Dhariwal. By 4 p.m., MLAs started arriving at Mr Dhariwal's house, and we've got all of those images actually playing out at the exact time when all of this started taking place. It was at about this time, in fact closer to 5 p.m, when a Shamiana wala told NDTV, that he'd been booked in advance to set up a quote-unquote big party at Shanti Dhariwal's house. This is the first clear sign that these were all pre-planned events. Around 6 p.m, MLAs inside Dhariwal's residence passed a resolution saying the leader replacing Ashok Gehlot, who's supposed to run or be a nominee for the post of Congress president, cannot be one of those who backed Sachin Pilot during the 2020 rebellion of pilots. That, they said, is absolutely unacceptable to them. Now, at 7:30 p.m, as many as 56 MLAs were present in Shanti Dhariwal's residence. The numbers kept rising. You can see all of them moving into that house, milling around that house. But the real crisis started at 9 p.m, a series of signs that this was escalating into a major crisis, with Pratap Khachariawas, the senior leader, emerging from Dhariwal's residence and saying MLAs strongly back Ashok Gehlot. Almost simultaneously, a 60-seater bus already parked in an adjacent lane appeared. This is the bus in front of Mr Dhariwal's residence. Another clear sign that someone knew that a large number of MLAs would be at Mr Dhariwal's residence and that they would need to move to another location, possibly all at once, and hence there was a need for this, a big bus. It was parked in an adjacent lane. Sachin Pilot, who would have by now known of the developments which were happening with Gehlot supporters, at 9 p.m. drove into Ashok Gehlot's residence, right? He expected a meeting. Remember, Ashok Gehlot's residence is where the original CLP, the Congress Legislature Party meeting, was supposed to take place. By 9:30, the situation became even more serious, with MLAs starting to board a bus. They say they are now heading to the Speaker's residence to resign, that they've had enough. By now, the Congress leadership, and this is about 10 p.m. or so, realized, the Congress leadership, that the situation was unraveling. Sources indicate that senior leader K.C. Venugopal reached out to the Congress observers Mallikarjun Kharge and Ajay Makan, instructing them to reach out to tell dissenting MLAs they would each be given a one-on-one meeting. The situation began to ease by midnight, with key senior leaders getting through to them, the Congress MLAs finally calling it a night and starting to depart from their homes. They didn't actually resign as they had threatened, but the crisis in the Rajasthan Congress remains very real as well. Harsha Kumari Singh and Sunil Prabhu join us at this stage for the very latest. Thank you both very much for being with us. Harsha, with these MLAs so far refusing to bend, does it appear that Gehlot is going to remain as Chief Minister? The Congress cannot afford to upset the cart over there. And the person who loses out at the end of the day is Sachin Pilot.
Well, today we were at Shanti Dhariwal's house, Vishnu, and we asked him all these questions actually. So remember, you're talking here about how, this was a pre-planned meeting. And in fact, it's very interesting that Mr. Dhariwal actually launched a frontal attack on Ajay Maken today, and what he said was that Ajay Maken actually is the person who was canvassing for Mr. Sachin Pilot, and he also went on record to say that I have evidence of that and there was a conspiracy to remove Mr. Gehlot, and he said that if there is any kind of he said so far he's not received any notices from the centre, but he says he has proof of Mr. Makan's activity. So it's really that they're batting on the front foot in this case. I also asked him about the Shamiana, and interestingly he said that every 2-3 days a Shamiana is put up at my house because there are various functions that are connected to my ministry. And we also asked him that you were calling the MLAs, and he said no, in fact it's the MLAs who were calling me, and they said that since I'm Parliamentary Affairs Minister, they streamed in and wanted to meet me. We also asked him if Mr. Ashok Gehlot knew about this, and he said, no, Mr. Ashok Gehlot did not know about that. That's the line that he and Mahesh Joshi both have taken. But it's also a little unusual that a chief minister goes to a temple on the Indo-Pak border, and also to a temple which is actually out of mobile range. So, how much of that is the Congress High Command buying? That's something we have to look at. Also, interestingly, the MLAs have been asked to meet the Congress
out of an
observers
adjacent
one-to-one.
lane.
They don't want to meet one-to-one.
The bus
Yes,
emerged.
and the bus, of course, which came out at a bit...
Yeah, tell us about that.
At a very opportune moment, a 60-seater bus. Yes. So the bus, in fact, when we went to Mr. Dhariwal's house at about 4:30 in the evening, the bus was already there. It was parked in a by-lane. It's quite a big bus, so it really couldn't be hidden out of sight. And it's also interesting that, if some MLAs could perhaps come around, they're not willing to meet one-to-one. I find that actually very interesting, and they're willing to meet in small groups with the party, central party observers. So obviously, it's a very interesting psychological tactic, really, that because one-to-one, somebody may say something else,
right.
But in a group, it would be different because you would have witnesses, so to speak.
Sunil, what does the Congress leadership believe about Ashok Gehlot? Because this is no ordinary leader. Ashok Gehlot has been a loyalist. He is their nominee to run for the post of Congress president, and now he appears to have gone and done this. What are they thinking?
Well, the Congress president has asked for a report, and she's heard firsthand from Mr. Karge as well as Mr. Ajay Maken about what happened, and Mr. Venugopal was also present. They definitely want to resolve this matter because the more this carries on, the damage it's going to do to the party. They can't afford to lose Rajasthan at this present juncture, and definitely an attempt is being made to try to resolve it at the earliest. While it's quite unconventional for Mr. for Mr. Ajay Maken to make public what is the observer's report, but he has done that in the interest of so that the party workers know what exactly is the position. This is an interesting aspect of the Congress party. But I think Mrs. Gandhi is attempting to find a way forward. She met Mr. Kamal Nath a short while back. Mr. Kamal Nath himself wants to mediate. He also agrees that what Mr. Ashok Gehlot has done is not acceptable. But definitely something needs to be done to resolve this matter. So there is a lot of movement that is taking place. Mr. Kamal Nath also interested in running for the post of Congress president. We'll have to wait and see how things are resolved. But Mr. Karge did receive Mr. Ashok Gehlot. Interestingly, Mr. Ajay Maken refused to meet him, and Mr. Ashok Gehlot apologizing and saying that he had nothing to do with it. Of course, everybody can't take at face value, no, because they've all been in politics, that this, as has been pointed out, was a pre-planned event, whatever was done by his close confidant. So definitely for the Congress party, this is a trying time, but definitely they will try to resolve it and hopefully in the next few days we will see Mr. Ashok Gehlot make up his mind whether he is contesting for the post of president, for which he's made his intention absolutely clear.
Does he actually have
public.
that option anymore, considering that he was a central nominee? That's something we'll have to see. Sunil, Harsha, thank you both very much for joining us. Also joining us at this stage, Ashwini Kumar, till recently a very senior leader of the Congress party. Ashutosh joins us as well, a political analyst, Tehseen Poonawalla, and Mr. Ramlal, MLA of the BJP in Rajasthan. Thank you all very much for being with us. Mr. Ashwini Kumar, you've known Ashok Gehlot for many, many years. Did you ever expect him to betray the Gandhis, as some would suggest he has done, in quite this manner?
It's a very strong word to use for Ashok. Betraying the Gandhis is something he would never even dream of. But it is true that he was diminished in the entire process. A serving chief minister, known for his steadfast loyalty to the Gandhis, is sought to be neutralized in his own backyard. What did you expect? He was a reluctant contender for the Congress presidency. He agreed to contest, but not at the cost of losing his chief ministership. And he had made that known very, very clearly and categorically in so many ways. But nobody would listen to him. So how can he be blamed if more than 92 MLAs whose support he enjoys come out openly in support of their leader? It is a democratic process. Now, in English, we say, you stand where you sit. Now, depending on whose version you want to believe, the Congress High Command may well say that Ashok Gehlot is what he is because of their unstinted support. They may be right. But Ashok Gehlot supporters will say, here is a man who has done everything possible for the Gandhis, stood by them all along, and now he's being humiliated, diminished in his own backyard. The problem with the Congress party, Vishnu, is, and you would recall when I resigned, in a 4-line letter I had said, one cannot work in the Congress party consistent with one's dignity. If you wanted to do this to Ashok, you should have consulted him. There were better ways of doing it. He's the most loyal.
Mr. Kumar, sir, a couple of questions. Firstly, have you actually spoken to Ashok Gehlot since yesterday?
No, I have not spoken to Ashok Gehlot, but I certainly know the feeling of the people around him.
Right.
I've been in politics for 45 years and I know what's happening.
So and therefore, sir, there's the entire issue of discipline in the party itself.
Let's not reduce politics to classroom discipline. Politics is a situational function.
Sir, classroom discipline. There were 90 MLAs who went to the Speaker's house yesterday in Rajasthan and said that, look, we are ready to resign. They were obviously posturing. I understand that. They were posturing. But
no. Forget that. I go further. Let's say they were serious in carrying out the threat. The classroom disciplining is with reference to the Congress leadership. They know that a man enjoys the support of 92 MLAs, and you want to rub his nose in the ground?
So what about Sachin Pilot and the fact that you can't have more than one person per post? So if Ashok Gehlot was running for the post of Congress president, then the Congress leadership felt that Sachin needs his chance now. And yet, this is what has happened. I mean, a senior leader in the state, Pilot, is insulted by all of these leaders. They aren't following the script of their own party. They choose to resign. It's a gross act of indiscipline. It just shows the Congress completely sort of collapsing.
You know, somebody said that in the context of the Congress party and politics. You don't need discipline of the graveyard in politics. In democratic politics, you have to have a vibrancy of sorts. Once people are asserting themselves and you are dubbing them as indisciplined.
Is this the way to assert themselves?
Sorry?
Is this the way to assert themselves by bringing a state government to its knees?
You tell me which is the other way. Here is a person who has the support of 20, and I have great admiration for Sachin at another level. He's a very good man and he has all the strength to back him up for the future. But there's no way he gets to be the chief minister this time around. Take it from us. Anybody who knows ABC of Congress politics would now say, now the things have gone too far. Nothing will deter Ashok Gehlot's supporters to concede in the chief ministership of Sachin. It is easier for the Congress High Command to make Sachin the president of the Congress party. And I'm saying so in all seriousness.
Is that something we can completely rule out? Because the second part of that question is that Mr. Kamal Nath wants to be mediator and may want to position himself for that post or run in that campaign. How do you see that development? Kamal Nath.
Well, if Kamal Nath chooses to contest, he's a sure winner. If he has the support of the Gandhis. If he has the support of the Gandhis. But where does that leave Sachin now? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Now, the issue is...
Where does it leave him?
Yeah, I think he's in a very unhappy situation.
Does that mean a possibility of him crossing over? Because in 2020, there was talk of him being close to, at least in terms of speaking to BJP leaders. I believe he was in a resort in Haryana, which was, it's a BJP-run state. So is that a possibility that the Congress may end up losing him?
Politics is the art of the possible. I'm not going to conjecture on that. Anything is possible. Depends upon how hurt he feels, how let down he feels. Because both sides are feeling let down at one level or the other. Okay. Let me tell you one thing. That the parting shot in my intervention today is going to be, a time has come when Congress party cannot continue to diminish its leaders.
All right, okay.
The way you conduct your politics must elevate them. Small men do not make for a grand party.
All right. I must say, Mr. Ashwini Kumar, in as much as I value your opinion a great deal, there is no Congress leader on this program this evening to counter your views because the Congress chose not to be a part of this debate on this topic. I would bring that to the table right now. In fact, Ashutosh, I find that rather strange when there are so many questions for which there needed to have been answers. The Congress officially chose not to respond to them on a debate program like this. But Ashutosh, let me come to you next. Ashwini Kumar said that you don't diminish the opinions of people who may have divergent views. On the other hand, there is the issue of indiscipline. There is the issue of what Ashok Gehlot, I beg your pardon, of what Ajay Makhan had to say earlier on today, saying that this is insane, this is crazy. Didn't use those words, but he was visibly upset. Is that not what it all boils down to? I mean, one part of the Congress doesn't know what the other part is doing.
See, Vishnu, I just fail to understand that what more could have been done for the Ashok Gehlot. He was given a position which was an all-India position as the party president. And if he still feel aggrieved that he didn't want to lose the chief ministership in Rajasthan, then it shows there is something seriously wrong with him. And the problem with the Congress party today is that the ruthless wonders were promoted as MLAs, MPs and made ministers in the center. And because of that, there is hardly anybody. See, the Congress is going through an existential crisis right now. And not only, everybody knows this. And Ashok Gehlot was supposed to be a solution for that crisis. And Ashok Gehlot was supposed to be the closest to the Nehru-Gandhi family. If his ego becomes so big that he cannot let any other person to take the mantle in Rajasthan, when it is expected from Ashok Gehlot that he should make exemplary sacrifice for the party to take party to next level. Okay. If that is not going to happen, that means there is a serious suicidal tendencies has emerged in the Congress party. And for that matter, the Sonia Gandhi and the Rahul Gandhi, they cannot absorb themselves because they knew the crisis between Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot, it's an old crisis. Why did they not manage? And
let me ask you something, Ashutosh. If we took a part of your conversation from this program, let us say something you spoke to me about during the Punjab Congress, and we replaced that conversation and put it here, would it be any different? It just seems that every single month there is the same sort of crisis, a crisis in leadership, and people reflect about it. It's more of the same, and they keep, every single state gets hit. It's the same problem over and over, a lack of leadership at so many levels.
Yeah, Vishnu, if you remember when the Punjab crisis erupted, I said that to make Navjot Singh Sidhu the party president, there is a blunder. And not to accept his resignation was a bigger blunder. Right. And look what happened in Punjab. The Punjab Congress party is almost wiped out by an upstart in politics. And the similar thing, Rajasthan could have been a model state for the Congress party. There was a stable government despite Operation Lotus. They survived. And Ashok Gehlot was running a good government. Everybody thought that he could be a good party president. But everybody knew that there is a crisis between Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot. Why Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi did not step in? Why they did not evolve a crisis management
could it be that they just didn't know?
Party?
Let me just ask Tehseen. Let me ask, Tehseen, this is a hypothetical question, but we've seen Sachin Pilot, in 2020 do all sorts of things. As I mentioned, go to a resort with his supporters, 19 of them or 18 of them, in Haryana, BJP-run state. So many young Congress leaders have actually crossed over to the BJP at this juncture. We don't know what his plans are. So far, he's not indicated anything of the sort. But if he were to, with 18, 19 odd supporters even now, then wouldn't the state government be right on the edge in terms of its majority on the floor of the assembly?
But I don't think Mr. Pilot is going to the BJP. He could have gone to the BJP even in 2020. He did refuse to go to, and he's been a loyal soldier of the Congress, campaigning in all the state elections for the Congress. So to attribute that Mr. Pilot is somehow associated with the BJP, I think is grossly unfair to him. Why I also disagree with my friend Ashutosh and with you, Vishnu, on the Punjab comparison is, please understand that Sidhu had come from outside. Here, everybody is from Congress, and Punjab was proved right by the Gandhis. Captain and Jakar are both with the BJP today, so that was right. And please, every single MLA voted to remove Captain. Every single MLA, not one MLA. So let's not compare this to Punjab and Rajasthan. These are unfair comparisons. Let's get to what Rajasthan is and let's look at it objectively. Point number one. I think where the Congress did make a mistake, and I'm not going to sit on your show and say there was no mistakes by the Congress. It sent Mr. Ashutosh's great friend from Delhi, at one time his rival, Ajay Markan, to talk to Ashok Gehlot. You have to have men of caliber.
And you have a running feud with Ajay Markan. But
I have no feud.
Of course you have a running feud with Ajay Markan. I mean, all evening last night you had a running feud with him. But keep that aside for the purpose of this program, Tehseen. Keep that feud aside.
I have no feud with Markan. He's not important enough. What I'm trying to say is, why is Mr. Kamal Nath going today to take salvage the situation? Because you need to have people of certain amount of stature to sort of bring this into book. So you have to understand it. Mr. Markan lost a Rajya Sabha election, so he doesn't have the stature. Now, I'm being honest about it. If you think it's a feud, I leave that to your thing. Now, let's come to the more pertinent point. Look, what this shows that it is only the Gandhis who can run the Congress centrally. Now, I have one advice for RG and PGV. Whatever it is, please become president of the Congress, and I'll tell you why. Nadda just got a second term. None of you all are debating it. What election did Nadda fight? 2 days, Vishnu will have a debate. Why is RG continuing as president, or why did PGV became? We'll come for those debates, we'll defend them, or we'll say whatever, and it will continue. Arvind Kejriwal's got an unlimited term as president. What debate are you all doing on Arvind Kejriwal? Look, in politics, please, the people, the cadre of Congress want the Gandhis. The Gandhis must not give in to media pressure or any other pressure. Okay. Please run the party. The party needs their guidance. That's very important.
Ashutosh, go ahead.
See, I want to tell my dear friend Tehseen that BJP is not facing an existential crisis. Neither the Arvind Kejriwal is facing an existential crisis. Congress party, which is facing an existential crisis, and Congress party has run this government, this country for more than 50 years. And today, if the most loyal soldier of the Nehru-Gandhi family, Ashok Gehlot, if he is rebelling, and it's a rebellion, which nobody could have thought 24 hours earlier. But if he is rebelling, and imagine what is happening here, such a bizarre, it's basically a surreal situation. That Ashok Gehlot was supposed to be the president of the Congress party, and the Sonia Gandhi, who's the incumbent president, they can't get together. Now imagine, if the Sonia Gandhi cannot trust Ashok Gehlot cannot trust Sonia Gandhi, then who will trust Congress party from today onwards? Will anybody trust anybody?
I'll answer that.
Again,
let me answer
that. Ashutosh, go ahead.
Look at the problem in the Congress party. Sachin Pilot, in the heart of Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot, it is not the Congress party. In their heart is a seat which is called Chief Minister's post. So both of them are running for the Chief Minister. They are not thinking that if Congress party will not survive this crisis, there will be no Chief Ministership. There will be no Chief Ministers for them.
All right, so both of you, half a second. I'm running short on time. I'm joined by Avinash Gehlot, the BJP MLA from राजस्थान. अविनाश जी, ये बताइए, अब मौका है बीजेपी के लिए, कांग्रेस का जो अंदरूनी मामला चल रहा है राजस्थान में, बीजेपी इसको कैसे देख रहे हैं, आप लोग कैसे देख रहे हैं इस स्थिति को, और इस स्थिति में आप लोग क्या करेंगे? मतलब कोई ऑफ लोटस ना हो जाए इसी बीच।
देखिए विष्णु जी, मैं सबसे पहले ये कहूंगा, जब से राजस्थान के अंदर कांग्रेस की सरकार बनी है, उसके बाद से लगातार ये जो नेतृत्व की लड़ाई है, वो आज 4 साल हो गए। पूरा राजस्थान प्रदेश की जो 7.5 करोड़ की जनता है, वो इस बात से दुखी है कि जिस विकास के लिए राजस्थान की जनता ने कांग्रेस सरकार को मैंडेट दिया था, और उसके बाद में आज क्या स्थिति हो गई राजस्थान की। पिछले टेन्योर में जब वसुंधरा जी के नेतृत्व में बीजेपी की गवर्नमेंट थी, इतने ऐतिहासिक काम किए थे, और आज कहां राजस्थान आज है, कहां 5 साल पहले था। विकास के नाम पर जो काम होना था वो नहीं हुआ, और सिर्फ अपने जो अस्तित्व की लड़ाई थी, जो नेतृत्व की लड़ाई थी, सीएम की लड़ाई थी, उसमें ये जकड़ के रह गया। आज बड़ा धोखा महसूस करिए राजस्थान की जनता कि हमने किस प्रकार का मैंडेट दिया था, आज हमें मिला क्या है। इन 4 वर्षों में राजस्थान को मिला क्या है, मुझे ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। और इवन राजस्थान के अंदर ये पहले दिन से मैं कह रहा हूं, जब से दिसंबर 2018 में चुनाव के बाद में जब मतगणना हुई, उसके बाद राजस्थान में कांग्रेस सरकार बनी, तब से मुख्यमंत्री से लेकर इनके विधायकों के बीच में ना मंत्रियों के बीच में तालमेल है, ना विधायकों के बीच में तालमेल है, ना इनके सरकार के बीच अधिकारियों के बीच में तालमेल है। और मुझे लगता पहली बार इतने जो ये एसीबी ने जो केसेस दर्ज किए हैं, सबसे ज्यादा अगर कोई पकड़े गए तो इस बार राजस्थान के अंदर पकड़े गए। ये भ्रष्टतम सरकार है इतिहास की, राजस्थान की प्रदेश कांग्रेस सरकार, जिन्होंने जनता के साथ में न्याय करने की बजाय अपने स्वार्थ की लड़ाई को ऊपर रखा, और राजस्थान प्रदेश आज अपने आप को ठगा हुआ महसूस कर रहा है।
All right, look, Tehsin, I know you wanted to reply. I'm out of time on this.
I just want when Mr. Shekhawat from the BJP fights with Mr. Meena from the BJP publicly, when before Draupadi Murmu is coming, and I am not saying this, NDTV carried these visuals. Please, the BJP that gave Nadda second term without an election, I am not going to take lectures from the BJP. First, go have an election in your party, then come and give us lectures and ask Mr. Shekhawat to stop fighting with Mr. Meena. You all fought publicly in front of Ashok Rajya on the stage during the 2018 campaign. I was there for a news channel. You all fought publicly, physical fight.
Okay, Tehsin, I am out of time on this program tonight. BJP. The Congress crisis hasn't gone back anywhere. We'll have you back once again very soon. But let's see how this actually plays out. Inner party democracy and voices versus party discipline. And where does this leave the Gandhis once again? A question that remains unanswered. We'll take a short break. More coming up.